I've been thinking about making this video for about a year now, and I've been holding off. I'm like, you don't want to pull the trigger too soon. But after last weekend, now's the time. Now is the time to talk to you lot about Moses Itoma. And a lot of you will already have heard of him. I know there's a lot of hardcore boxing fans in the audience. There's some casuals. There's some MMA fans who might not have heard of him. If you don't know, now you know. In the words of Notorious B.I.G., this kid's going to be notorious. You're going to hear this kid's name for the next 10 to 15 years. In short, he's special. He's unbelievable. And this is the lad I'm talking about, right? He's 20 years old. And he's a heavyweight, and he's like nothing I've seen for the age. And it's ironic that he's called Moses, because those old heavyweights are going to part the way the Red Sea did for Moses in the Bible, right? They're going to not want anything to do with this lad, in my opinion. He is going to be the reason a lot of these top heavyweights now who are getting on a bit start going, should retire soon. Yeah, because they can't keep up with him. This was him at 18, right? Now, he's 17 stone 10 there. When Anthony Joshua was 23, I think he weighed in at 16 stone 6. Like, he has that like thick, dense muscle. It's mental. Heavyweights don't mature until their late 20s, early 30s sort of thing. This kid just built like a man from the get-go here. It's mental. And it's mad because this is him at 18 years old, and I've already seen massive improvements in the last 2 years in him. And he was already something special back then. See the way he backs up? Like, his footwork is tremendous. And he stays right within range that as you're moving in, and that is a left uppercut from hell, right? This kid doesn't know where the fuck he is, bless him. And you see he's got the finishing instincts as well. I mean, look at the hand speed. Look at them. We're in for a fucking treat here. This is special, this guy he's fighting in here had a 10-1 record. But immediately, just the speed, it stuns people. They're thinking, what can this kid do? He's 18 years old. How good can he be? The answer is very good. And look at that. You don't even fucking see it, man. You barely see the fucking punch. Look at the fucking, that poor bastard. You just got chinned by a child. I mean, this is just, look at it. What are we witnessing here? He's an animal. He's a fucking animal. He's not just a beast. He's a beast with a brain. The shot selection, the speed, and bearing in mind, this lad is 250 pounds. Heavyweights don't usually mature, as I've said earlier, till they're later on. He's 20 pounds heavier than AJ was when AJ was 3 years older than him. Like, he's just got that man strength already. So fuck knows what kind of athlete we're looking at when he's 30. And he's a southpaw. And we all know from Alexander Usyk what kind of trouble that brings to the table. And like Usyk, he's kind of a modern heavyweight. He moves a lot lighter than what the old school of heavyweight did, right? Even Fury, was considered light on his feet. He's way quicker than Fury on his feet, way quicker. He's like a cat. I mean, this guy's a fucking big old lad, you know what I mean? Moses is 6'4". He's not in there, with some nothing dude, you know what I mean? But he's just picking him apart. And that's it. These are all first round knockouts, by the way. All of them. I haven't had to wait for it to get good. It's good from the fucking jump, really. And again, when he gets you hurt, there ain't no messing around. He's a fucking wrecking ball. An 18-year-old wrecking ball here. Here's the slow-mo. Boom. Like the pinpoint precision right on the chin. For his size and his age to be doing that is ridiculous. And look, how good can he be? No one really knows, right? I've never seen anything like this before. I was watching John Jones when he first burst onto the scene. He won the light heavyweight UFC title at 23 years old. He didn't look like that. Not even close, by the way. Anthony Joshua and Tyson Fury didn't look like that at 20 years old. They were fucking good, but they didn't look like that. And they've had amazing careers. I'm sure he'd be happy with either of those level of careers. But I think he can move up the levels way quicker than they did. It really reminds me of a different sporting story. It reminds me of Wayne Rooney. He's a footballer who burst onto the scene at 16, and he just had the physical presence of a grown man. And the look on the defenders' faces when they'd have to play against him is like the look that these grown men have when they get hit by Moses Itoma. It's like what the fuck is going on here? Before they get into the ring, they're deluding themselves, or they're just unaware of the possibilities. I mean, that's actually fair. There's no way an 18-year-old lad should be able to beat me. That's what they're thinking. And they're totally right in thinking that. But he is the exception to the rule. This is him at 19 years old on a Riyadh season card. And obviously pressure's on. And you wouldn't know it because look at the way he's fighting. This is the first round. Again, walks, takes a step back, uncorks that left hand. He does that so well. He's not just an athlete. He really thinks and he measures the distance. And for his age, better than anyone I've seen, do that. Maybe Usyk was fighting like this when Usyk was a 20-year-old. I don't know in terms of the smart, but Usyk didn't have that level of raw athleticism and power. Usyk still doesn't have that. That's what a special fighter. I mean, you just don't know where this could go wrong. Only he can let it go wrong at this point. Jesus. He's just devastating. I mean, this guy in there with him must be a fucking giant because Moses, I've seen him in person. He's very tall, very long arms, perfect build for a boxer. And that guy is huge. And look at that, man. He's putting him in a blender. He's just ripping them to shreds here. Oh, shit, bro. You're getting fucked up. Look at him. I mean, this is just poetry in motion, right? The way that these shots are coming from all different angles, in the judgment of distance, there's just nothing he does bad. How good can his legacy be? Was Lennox Lewis that good at his age? I doubt it. And Lennox, for me, is top of the top, right? He's one of the best ever. And that's the scary thing, is it's almost like when you start talking about a fighter like that, you worry that we're putting too much pressure on him. Because we've seen athletes in all sports who had all the talent in the world and they haven't realized it because of what was going on between their ears, right? The mental part of the sport. And that's my only worry for him, because everything is there. How much do you want it, bro? Like, what do you want to achieve out of this? Because everything you want to do is all doable. And this fight for me was one of the ones where I went, oh, this is really getting serious now. Like, we're looking at something insane, because Dempsey McKean, who he's fighting here, had, I think, 22 wins and 1 loss. And the 1 loss he had was to Filip Hrgović, and he took him to the 12th round. So, like, one of the best boxers in the heavyweight division took this guy to the 12th round. If you make this look easy, then we're really talking about something crazy. Good body shot. Another body shot. And look at that. Dips out. Now you say is now you're done. You're just never safe. No point are you safe. Do you understand that? No point.
He's trying to get his stance back, but a Chalmer. Oh, that's it. Fight's done. Corner in. It's Chalmer wins in 1.
In 1 fucking round. Like, his coaches must have organised this fight thinking, good test, tough guy, he went 12 with Hrgović, get him some experience in there. That they can't stand with him. They can't hang. And I think, like, what could possibly go wrong for this lad, outside of taking a massive shot on the chin and you get hurt, which can happen to any fighter, but he does avoid punches very well. He's in and out. He's brilliant at that. So, I'm not even that worried about that, really. He's going to get tested at some point, you'd think. But I don't think he takes a lot of shots, especially when he's wiping people out in a fucking round. When fighters start getting money, especially when they're really, really talented anyway. Like, we remember Prince Naz. That didn't do him the world of good, because where's the motivation when you start getting loads of money, right? And you've looked after everyone you can look after, and you're so naturally gifted that you think, I don't even have to train as hard as these other guys do. I can beat them anyway. Maybe that's something that could be a problem for him. But I've watched interviews with him, and for 20 years old, he is wise beyond his years. And he's also not like, he doesn't love himself. He believes in himself, but he's not full of arrogance in that way. There's just self-confidence there. And he seems really grounded. And when I watch these interviews, he mentions family and how that's kept him grounded. He's had the hard times, which, are brutal for anyone to go through. But in this game, it can only help him stay grounded. And there's massive pressure on Ben Davison, who's his coach, who has this gem here, this absolute jewel in the crown of British boxing right now, to just look after him and to get him where he needs to be. And I can honestly say, I've criticised Ben in the past for the AJ Dubois fight, but since he started working with Ben, from what I've seen, there's been noticeable improvements, and he's getting even better and better. So that's a good sign. They've had him sparring top guys like Tyson Fury. He sparred before Fury had the Usyk fight, which can only have taught him. Well, to be fair, he did say I didn't really learn much because we were just fighting, like we're proper scrapping, but he held his own. He did say, I held my own. If you can hold your own when you're 20, well, I think you might have been 19 at the time, against Tyson Fury before he fights Alexander Usyk, oh, you're the real fucking deal. And now, a word from our sponsors. Now, we hear about people getting hacked online all the time, and the reality is someone could be stealing stealing your data right now. If you're getting spam emails or random phone calls from numbers you don't recognize, that could easily mean your info has been compromised. It happens to all of us, and if you want to take control of your data, just click the link in the description below and check out Incogni. And the reason we need Incogni is because there are people out there known as data brokers, and they just collate all of your personal information. Anything from your email, your full name, your address, even your political affiliation. And then they sell all of this info on you far and wide, which is why all of these marketing agencies and businesses are randomly contacting you. And not just that, but there's people using this information to con people out of money. It's pretty freaking serious, like. And that is where Incogni come to the rescue. They reach out to all these data brokers on your behalf and demand that all your information be removed from their databases. And they don't just do this for a one-time thing. They will continue to police the internet on your behalf to make sure that your details don't get out there again. All you need to do is click the link in the description, create an Incogni account, and tell them whose data you want removed. You then grant them the right to work on your behalf, kick back, relax, and Incogni will let you know when you're all sorted. And the great thing is it's risk-free for 30 days, so if you try it and you don't fancy it, you can always get a free refund. So take back your personal data today. Click the link in the description below and use the code PAINGAME, that's all block capitals, all one word, PAINGAME, and you can get 60% off your annual plan. Big thanks to Incogni for looking after us all, but for now, enjoy the video. Apparently he was sparring Daniel Dubois when he was 17 years old, going full blast toe-to-toe and holding his own in them. And my favourite story about Moses Atoma was the one Lawrence Okoli told when he was about to have a world title fight and they needed a southpaw, I think, and Moses Atoma was only 15 years old at the time, but they brought him in and Okoli's thinking, I'll just have a few light rounds with him, you know, these will be my rounds off in between the other difficult guys. I'll play what he said.
I'm gonna have some rounds off here. Got the shock of my life. No. I said it to everyone that day and I couldn't even hide it. Everyone was in the gym. I got the shock of my life from the first round that we sparred. I threw a jab, slip. I said, hold on, must have been an accident. Threw another one, slipped the other direction. I said, okay, you know what? Let's turn it on. And then I never told him this, but at the end of round one of our spar, I was obviously feeling the pace, good counter punch, good everything. He hit me in the stomach just before the end of the round. I remember I couldn't breathe. I got back to the corner and I pretended to Shane everyone that I was fine. I was just there. Meanwhile, I was waiting to get my breath back, got it back, and then we ended up doing like maybe 4 or so rounds. But they were the hardest. Those first 4 rounds were the hardest rounds I've ever done in the sport, to be fair. And then after that, I'll tell you one last thing. When I was preparing for the fight before, I was thinking Glowacki, maybe a bit of the sparring. After that, I went to bed, Moses.
I really rate his honesty, by the way, because a lot of boxers would never want to admit that. Like a 15-year-old kid had given him the hardest rounds in his whole boxing career. This guy sparred Anthony Joshua. That means a lot. And you can see the way like Moses is playing it down, really, you know, but it means a lot to him to hear that, I'm sure. So let's take a look at the last fight he had this weekend just gone, which was the fight that made me just go, all right, let's make the fucking video, Brian. It's time. He fought this guy called Balogun, who had 21 wins, 1 loss, and the only loss was against Gassiev, who's like a really, really fucking good fighter. So again, another one who should give him some good rounds. Yeah. That's what we thought. Again, very light on his feet for 250 pounds. I mean, he fights like he's 200 pounds.
The way that he does, you know, he moves like a middleweight.
Ooh. And Balogun's game as well. He didn't take it like he really fucking came back after him when he did. But again, different level. I mean, it just takes... I mean, again, first round, it just takes him no time at all to get to them. He figures them out so quickly, and it isn't through, like, just brute force. Back in the day, and I don't want to take anything away from AJ, but I think AJ was an amazing athlete who was a good boxer, and over time he built his skills up and he learned to make the full use of that. But his boxing IQ is just a joke for his age. It's a fucking joke. Balogun does try and come after him a little bit, but like, look at the balance, look at the footwork. So he made it to the second round, not for long, like. Look at the body language of Moses as he chins this guy, right? He hits the deck, right? Look at the body language of Moses and just how, like, nonchalant and just like, yeah, that was supposed to happen. I'm supposed to do this. He's not excited. He's not getting carried away. He's not over emotional. And that really kind of sums up a lot of his interviews that I've watched as well. Like, he's like, I'm the best in the world. this is just what I'm supposed to do. But he doesn't say it in an excitable way, like when you watch Fury or other people when they're trying to talk about becoming the best in the world. And I think that like just groundedness in the way he behaves, it's going to make him a really difficult fighter to crack mentally. When you've been in the ring 15 years old, Lawrence Okoli, 17 years old, Daniel Dubois, he shared the couple of rounds with AJ. He's been a sparring partner before he's even 21 with fucking Tyson Fury. It's going to take everything to intimidate this guy. It's not possible, really. And that mental strength is going to be just as big a problem for everyone else as his physical attributes. Fucking Balogun, by the way. This guy is a beast. Like, I've got nothing bad to say about him. This is how you're supposed to fight when you're getting your ass kicked. He just went for it. Look at him. Fuck it. I love it.
What a great effort there from Balogun. He was done. Yeah, he's got to
look at him.
And recover. That's some super.
We need to study this. Balogun basically says, fuck it, I'm going for it. And again, we look at the footwork and the positioning of Moses Atoma here, because as he's throwing one, yes, he's leaning right over and he's breaking the rules, but look at that punch isn't far away from the fucking chin, right? He's taking all the risks. And I couldn't even pause it in time. Like, in between he throws the left, in between the right, Moses sneaks it in. Do you see how fucking quick that was? That's not happening in every fucking fight we watch, is it? One, boom, done. Unbelievable. And again, the way he casually just walks off. And look, I know a lot of you hardcore fans will have already known about Moses, but it's nice for me to be able to do this video, shout about him, and let everyone, who hasn't heard yet, it's time that we paid attention. It really is time. Because as much as I understand what we're supposed to do with a guy like this, you take your time, you build him up slowly but surely, and you get his boxing education, and then in a few years' time, maybe he fights for a world title, maybe even at 25 years old, right? He's 20 now. It's just going to be so hard to hold him back because he's too fucking good. I wouldn't put him in there with Usyk. I wouldn't put him in there with Dubois. I wouldn't put him in there with Caballel right now because you don't need to go too crazy. But if you did put him in there with them, would it be competitive? Fuck yeah, it would. They'd have the fight of their lives on their hands. And kind of like I mentioned Wayne Rooney earlier on, sometimes when you've got that youth on your side, you have a belief of anything is possible. You don't play by the rules necessarily. You don't, worry about limitations that other people think exist. You just have this, I can do this. I was born for it. And look, he could beat them, maybe. I don't know. But the point is everyone else can get it right now, in my opinion. Like, it's just about how much do they want to hold him back. Because with this level of talent, you don't have to worry about money because the money is going to come. He is going to be a world champion. There's no doubt about that. If I was going to do it, and, he's with Frank Warren, by the way, so, he's going to get good advice. Frank looked after Daniel Dubois fantastically, so he couldn't be in better hands. But I would use a lot of these aging heavyweights to build his name. Because what you want to try and do is do what Eddie did so well with AJ, which is make him a star. Now, AJ was a freak in that. Yes, he had the knockouts, and yes, he had the physique, but he was also very marketable. He was a very good-looking lad, very charming. People loved him. Moses is a bit more relaxed, a bit more low-key, a bit more chilled out than AJ. And I don't think he really cares about being a superstar at all. I think he actually just wants to be the best boxer in the world, which is actually going to serve him really well in the long term. And don't get me wrong, AJ wanted that too. But the marketing side of things, you couldn't do what you did with AJ with Moses. I think Moses is a different character. But that doesn't mean he can't be the biggest star in the world. Because he can. He's fucking amazing. But I think one way to do that is just use these boxing legends, right? Dillian White, right? Is he a legend? I don't know if you call him a boxing legend, but he certainly had a good fucking career. We all know who he is. The wider casuals know who Dillian White is, and that is the kind of audience that you want to capture. And I'd make him the legend killer. Dillian White, Derek Chisora, line all of these top, very respectable names and make a name off of them and build yourself off of them. Will they go for someone like Jermaine Franklin, maybe, who had good rounds against Anthony Joshua, arguably beat Dillian White, but isn't the biggest name? But if you take him out early, well, he went 12 fucking rounds with Anthony Joshua, so that's a hell of a statement. Maybe they'll go that road. Personally, you just need to build a star. That's all you need to do. And just Jermaine Franklin do that? Not necessarily. But another highlight reel knockout's a highlight reel knockout, right? If you can do that against him, it's going to impress everyone in boxing. But if you said to me, like, who's the best fighter who you would really bet on him to beat right now? It would be Joseph Parker. And I really rate Joseph Parker. And I like him as well. He's a great bloke. But when you look at what Joseph Parker struggled with in Zhilei Zhang, his left hand, and you look at how fast Moses Atoma is, I think that would be a nightmare matchup for him. And I really respect Joseph Parker. So that's blowing my mind is how I'm fucking saying that. That's how good this lad is right now. At 20 years old. What is he eating? Do you know what I mean? But I do think a gradual build-up is a sensible thing, but it's going to have to get quicker at some point because he's just going to run through people. In my opinion, this is the future of boxing and the next king of the heavyweight division. But let me know what you think in the comments below. Am I going too quick? Is he as good as I think he is? Am I overdoing it? Who knows? Let me know in the comments. One thing I will say is he seems like a good lad, and I wish him all the best. Let's see how this journey goes, because I think we've got a superstar on my hands. Hit the like button. Subscribe if you haven't already to The Pain Game, and I'll catch you on the next one.